Hola a todos, estoy aquí para comunicaros que...
My name is Thompson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Hi, my name is Jaime Faria, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Ready? Play.
Hey guys, so we're actually doing a doubles watch along today, which is pretty interesting. I'm not even sure I've done one before, but it's going to be Purcell Thompson against Heliovaara Patten. Let me put on the screen with the result for you. Is that the screen? I don't actually know. Okay, this is the, and also I wanted to find the standings in the group stage. This is actually the match between the two pairs who won their first matches, right? So today we are starting with the pairs that went 1-0. This group was generally perceived as a very even one, I think, compared to the other, where Bolelli, Vavasori, and Arevalo Pavic kind of stood out as favorites. However, Arevalo Pavic have since lost to Kraviec Pütz, so it's not obvious, it's not easy. When it comes to this one, though, we had Granollers, Zeballos, and Korhoff Mektic going down 0-1, and of course, Purcell Thompson and Heliovaara Patten are now meeting in this match between the two pairs that are presently 1-0. Where can I find the standings? Here I can find the group standings. Yes. Of course, this is the first match today from this group, from doubles in general, so we won't know all that much until the second one is played. I don't think even when... Actually, if Purcell Thompson or Heliovaara Patten went 2-0, are they qualified already? I'm not sure. We'll be counting that later. Anyway, for now, let's just enjoy the match. For some reason, the score is taking a while to load on the ATP website, so maybe I will just refresh it. In any case, we have to mention that this is, of course, the rematch for the Wimbledon final, and already we have our first headshot, as Harry Heliovaara just got hit basically in the forehead. I think his cup probably limited some of that. But yeah, it happens in doubles, of course, somewhat frequently. The player starting on serve is Patten, so that was, of course, with Harry being at the net right away and then getting hit by a return, but that's fine. They are 40-15 up. And yes, worth to mention that this is a rematch for the Wimbledon final, which you might remember as an absolutely phenomenal affair. 3 match points saved by Heliovaara Patten as they won that one in 3 tiebreaks. Later on, Purcell Thompson got back at them. Well, first of all, they got back at World, let's say. They got back at live because they won the US Open. But after that, they also got back at them actually like 11 days ago in Paris in the quarterfinals of the ATP 1000. They won 12-10 in the super tiebreak there. They didn't save a match point. It was constantly them who had the chances, but still, of course, winning a very tight match against the pair that they lost to in July in the Wimbledon final, which we definitely will remember as one of the best doubles matches of the season. So far, Patten just holding easily. Hi, Jake. 12K by the end of the year is our goal, apparently. Hopefully, we will be able to get there. I see the score has already unbugged, which is amazing. And yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about some group qualification scenarios later. Basically, when the match, we kind of know what the result might be. So far, we don't know much yet. However, of course, Purcell, Thompson, Heliovaara, Patten have put himself in good position, winning the first matches. Kolhov, Mektic, and Granollers Zeballos a little behind. But I mean, these are all strong pairs. Kolhov, Mektic, of course, the Paris champions. Wesley with a lot of motivation, definitely as well, given it's one of his last events. And Granollers Zeballos, I mean, they've been the most consistent pair of the last few years. Despite actually, along with Kolhov, Mektic being one of the two pairs here who didn't make a slam final this year. That's a nice one from Max with the forehand down the line. You might have noticed as well that like Purcell, the last few months, he's kind of given up on singles, if you may. And of course, that was at first related to some injury issues. He retired in the second round at the US Open. That was a pretty brutal match for him against, was it Paul or Fritz? One of these guys. But eventually, he just still wins the US Open doubles title and kind of keeps going like this. Whereas the singles has once again taken a bit of a back position, if you may. Purcell, of course, already had slam titles in his cabinet. 2021, I think he won Wimbledon, right, with Ebden, but 22. Anyway, one of these years, 22 maybe. But after that, in 2023, he decided to start focusing on the singles again. Got him deep into the top 100, got him even into the top 50. Looks like now, again, he's kind of choosing to prioritize on doubles since, well, ATP finals for the first time and everything. Jordan Thompson, it's really just achievements that he's never had in his entire career in doubles or singles. What a phenomenal season for him in both disciplines, actually. Getting to the top 25 in singles, winning his first ATP Tour title, winning a slam in doubles, and of course now here in the ATP finals and with good chances as well. See our friend Calvin Patten there in the Henry Patten box. Of course, he also coaches like Luke Johnson and was there, of course, for Henry in the Wimbledon final and every step of the way, really, this year. So far, 2 quick holds. Yesterday's Zverev and Rublev definitely made this court seem very, very fast still, despite the CPI apparently going down a bit compared to last year. And I think still it's probably going to be serve dominated for the most part. Pretty funky point here as Patten was trying to find that backhand smash. Purcell is able to get there in time. Set up for the finishing volley. Even though Thompson and Purcell won their last meeting, they're still wanting revenge after Henry and Harry broke their hearts at Wimbledon. Yeah, sorta. I mean, definitely when you have that situation, you've lost such a huge match to them, 3 match points. Probably Paris isn't quite enough to cover for it. But at the same time, as I said earlier, like they still won so much since, right? Including the US Open. So I think in a way they haven't maybe gotten back at Heliovaara Patten to the extent that maybe they would like, but they definitely got back at life simply by winning the US Open title, and that's kind of covering up for it much more than a win against Harry and Henry at any other event could do, really. My stream is now kind of failing, but hopefully I will be able to fix that in a second. Anyway, I see there's also a comment about my favorite doubles pairing. Tough question, to be honest. I would definitely love Granollers and Zeballos to get a slam finally. I don't think it will be quite right if they retire without a slam title to their name. I mean, they've been so consistent. Zeballos was also one of the favorites of mine, and a favorite of mine in singles. And I think their achievements over the last few years together, I mean, are just insane. It's just that they keep kind of missing big opportunities when they come to them at the Grand Slam level. and I would like to see that changed. That's for sure. Some other, I mean, obviously I did like the Polish guys when they were still playing, like Kubot, Mateusz Kowalczyk as well, I think was my favorite back in the day. Do I actively have a doubles pair that I like support right now on the tour? I'm a big Adam Pawlaszek fan. That's definitely true. Jean-Julien Roger is also one of my favorites. Mate Pavic, I think, is probably the best doubles player of the last few years. So even though I don't know, yeah, I guess you can call him a favorite of mine. I definitely always kind of think that he's a bit ahead of the field, and just have a lot of respect for him. So I guess you could say that that he's also one of my favorites. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if like every week I have someone that I tune into, and I have someone that I feel heartbroken when they lose. Probably not. Both these pairings I think are very fun to watch. Heliovaara, of course, coming up kind of a weird story where he was out for a few years, and then he suddenly decides to come back. He's getting great results. Starts that blog, right? If you've never read Harry Heliovaara's blog, definitely recommend it. It's in Finnish, but Google Translate, of course, goes a long way. Patten, when he was getting onto the tour along with Cash, definitely super fun to watch. 10 challenger titles in a single season. That's still a record, and I think it might be a record for quite a while. I definitely like a couple of pairings right now on the challenger circuit, getting up there, like Schneider-Wallner, like Segerman-Trhacz. Used to love Merja. The one-handed backhand return from him was quite something. Of course, it's like 4 or 5 years, I think, now that Florin isn't playing anymore. Begum and Merja were definitely like one of my favorite pairings as well, like 2018-19. Anyway, Thompson serving here at 1-2 down. Goes T for the 40 love serve. So far, so smooth. Yeah, I mean, I watch doubles very casually as well, Jake. So why are we doing doubles today? I want to watch some ATP Finals doubles. It's a good motivator. I looked at what's happening sort of around at all their events right now, and I just figured I'm probably not going to be able to. I mean, I'm probably not going to be watching anything anyway. So let's catch it. I'm more excited about this than the singles matches today. That's for sure. But that's a problem with the whole group stage at the ATP Finals, really. Ooh, that's a great return from Purcell. Patten going at his backhand corner, and he just kind of runs into it and picks it up. Maybe Patten was a little... Sorry, maybe Heliovaara was a little too quick with the switch up, but nah, not really. It's just some really good invention from Max here. I think when these two pairs were playing at Wimbledon, the thing is, like, Thompson Purcell can be good in any conditions, but it was very different Wimbledon and the US Open, because at Wimbledon it just felt like it was such a serving contest that they weren't able to show their craft, like their skill set, because Purcell and Thompson, of course, two very unique guys, great hands. Purcell just plays every shot in the book, the forehand slices, so much he can cook up. They are both fantastic lobbers, as Jordan just proves, hitting that return to go lob 30. But basically, I think at Wimbledon, it just became a bit too much of a botting contest. We serve well, we pick it up at the net, point is over. And of course, they can be fine in these sort of conditions as well. They just beat Heliovaara, Patten in Paris. But what I liked about, let's say, Purcell Thompson's game at the US Open compared to that was that they actually had the space to produce all of that. Like, they actually had the space to incorporate their variety, their ability to hit junk balls, really, because both of them, even in singles, right, they hit a lot of junk balls. Max Purcell had patches where he was just forehand slicing. He was never hitting his forehand topspin. That's, of course, before his 2023 singles breakthrough, but still. Thompson, I mean, he's kind of like a slice and dice player, sometimes even in quicker conditions, especially. So it definitely, I think, is a little more watchable from them when they are playing in slower conditions. Turin, we'll see how that goes. We will actually have a breakpoint here for the Aussie pair. And as I mentioned, that Jordan slice lob return was really, really good earlier. Patten, though, cleaning it up, serve out wide to get the deciding point. Let's see who they will choose. I think it's going to be Purcell who's going to be returning. Well, both Jordan and Max have had pretty good returns this game, that's for sure. So not an easy choice, but probably generally they're going with Max then. And let's see. Oh, well, I mean, it's also against the lefty, right? So you kind of want to go to the forehand side, because on the outside you will be hit with these out wide spins, and here you just have a bit of a clearer picture in mind as to what Henry potentially could do. Let's see. I mean, it's the second serve on the deciding point from the Brit now. Maybe Purcell will try to run into it once again. Not really. He gets a very deep serve in at the body. That's class from Patten, getting that one really deep with still a lot of pace, despite obviously taking a bit of it. And there's no way that Purcell can really react to a body serve like this in time when he's also standing close, inside the baseline. So Heliovaara will get an easy put away out of this, and it's 3-2. Thus, this was the first opportunity we had for either pair. Yeah, I mean, Jordan, sometimes I know he can be a tough watch sometimes. I definitely have in the past thought of him as a slightly uncomfortable watch in the singles. But on grass especially, I think he's fantastic. He just kind of plays like the Andy Murray grass style, if you may, which is also, well, not ironic, but it's coincidental because Murray was that big win that Jordan had, right, in Queens years ago on grass courts. And, well, he kind of plays a similar slice grinding style on grass courts, I would say. And definitely, as his first serve especially has progressed over the years, he has turned himself into a real singles force, which previously wasn't really the case. And he had to rely on the sort of like occasional challenger appearances, occasional big runs on the challenger circuit to get him into the top 100 at the year end and everything. Now he's like properly in. He's a force on every surface. And, well, every surface, okay. I'm stretching because on clay, not really, but I think especially that first serve improvement really took his game to a completely new level in both singles and doubles. Is he also hitting through the forehand a bit better? Probably. That's not really a shot that generates good consistent depth, and we still see it hurting him on grass courts, but on grass courts, on clay courts, but on a quick hard court or on grass, he is perfectly fine at killing short balls now. What was the turning point in terms of his serve? Yeah, I mean, we'd have to look at the stats. I think last year he was already that good for sure. Like last year, he was one of the best grass court players on the planet. That's for sure. That was already happening, I guess. At some point, like it wasn't just a sudden jump. But I would say, yeah, 2023, 2022, maybe late. That's when it became like really elite. And he just wasn't forced to rely on the points he gained in like Asia, Australia challengers anymore. Because if you look at his results in the past, like he had so many challenger finals, challenger titles, but it was all like kind of traveling around. And there's nothing wrong about that. But Jordan was really a guy who was maximizing his singles potential via good scheduling. And he just doesn't need that anymore. Right now, obviously top 30 seeded for slams. And I do think in the large part, this is just his serve becoming absolutely elite. Great get from him here on top of the net, stretching very well to that backhand volley. Gonna be 40-15 for Purcell Thompson now. as things are going pretty well for them. Of course, they had the bigger chances last game, weren't able to take them. But now also a good serve down the tee from Purcell takes us to 3-all eventually. United Cup, I think we can check that. The United Cup list should be out already, right? So I will check that for you very quickly. Oh, not that. That's not the 2024 United Cup, though, right? That's the 2025 United Cup. Sometimes that's already tough to remember that in a couple of months, in a few weeks, really, we're going to have another year on board. United Cup entries, and what do we have here with Great Britain? Draper, Billy Harris, and Joe Salisbury. So Patten is not playing. It's going to be Salisbury in the doubles. But of course, the new United Cup format, you only really need one doubles player. Silky is a bad influence. That is true. Like when I went with him to these Portuguese events, probably I wouldn't really drink if not for him. But he is indeed a rough influence on you. Dr. Vansh would agree. Vansh MD. As Vansh was like very tempted for some time to keep telling John that his beer habits aren't good for him, which is true, of course. The drive volley here from Heliovaara. I didn't really think that was a good take on this ball, but okay. Eventually, it's not that shot he misses. It's the next one. So 15-30 now, as Thompson, Purcell are still pressuring, and their returns have been very, very good today. As usual, to be honest. Billy Harris minus the camper van. He has a few quid. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the camper van wouldn't take him to Australia anyway. Let's see this one. Harry serving down the tee. This could have been a good shot from Thompson if he landed it. I mean, he would be going like straight at Patten, not allowing him to get too much time on the volley, but it's 30-all. Still, once again, it's the Aussies who are pressuring here. Another drive volley from Heliovaara. He kind of takes this one like pretty slow once again. But it works. I think Thompson was a little surprised with the direction. Harry just went straight down the middle, which is a very good direction in doubles, sometimes for sure. And Thompson just tries to lob him with the forehand slice. It's going to be a little wide. So 40-30 now, as Heliovaara Patten get another chance to just stay ahead on the board. Very good volley pickup from Patten as well. And we've got 4-3 now. I mean, the Aussies are looking better, but you know how much that actually means in tennis, right? Unless you put it onto the scoreboard. Let's see. 3-4 now, of course, Thompson to serve. I think in Purcell Thompson, there's not like a better or worse server. There clearly is one in Heliovaara and Patten. I mean, it's obviously Harry has the weaker serve. Harry and Henry, sometimes, you get confused saying the names, but later today, of course, the day session will finish with Medvedev playing de Minaur. A pretty tricky matchup for Daniil in the past. So I think there is excitement about it now that Daniil is also like, well, I wanted to say now that he's a head case. He's always been a bit of a head case, but these last few months, he's, as he said, I mean, he's just not enjoying himself out there on the court. So we also can't expect all that much from him. And de Minaur is an opponent who gets him uncomfortable, who gets him frustrated, who gets him to generate pace, which Medvedev says with the balls right now on the ATP tour he cannot do. So yeah, I mean, it will be an interesting match for sure. Then also we have Granollers Zeballos playing Kolhov Mektic. the losing pair will be in deep trouble, that's for sure. Maybe if they win a set, then maybe they will still have a shot. But I think with 2 losses, 0-2, I mean, you're almost eliminated unless every other match is also 2-0 and you go 3-0, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, right? But I mean, yeah, obviously. And then, of course, at the end of the day, Sinner Fritz. Actually pretty excited about this one. I will miss about 45 minutes, maybe an hour of it. But I think Taylor has a much better shot at the US Open. It's not as dry of a match as it was there, where I think no one believed that Taylor has any shot, and we were just watching the movie Final Destination for 2 hours straight, basically not believing that you can cheat death, and Taylor proved that he cannot. I think Final Destination was probably shorter than the US Open final, so at least it wasn't as spread out in time. I'd rather watch Final Destination than rewatch the US Open final. Patten has one Heliovaara serve. Jake trying hard with the puns there. It's okay. I haven't heard that one before, so you get the points for that. You get the points for originality. Well, anyway, that hell of a, I don't know if it's a hell of a serve, but that Jordan Thompson serve is working well here in this game, as he goes up for the love already. Again, like the Aussies breezing through their service games. Also 82% on first serve from both of them. I mean, not points won, but like serve in, right? So that's, given how well they're serving, how well they're like actually placing their serves too. It's kind of surprising. And this one will actually miss from Jordan. Patten guessing completely wrong. But the out wide serve was not in. But this should... Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, so there was a floater, a very high return from the Finnish Brit duo. And Purcell just like mishit the smash overhead volley. I'd like to see a replay of that, but I'm not going to. He's very disappointed because, yeah, it was just a put away shot. But it's still 40-15. Of course, it's unlikely to actually get them into trouble. Thompson with the slider serve to get us to 4-all. And yeah, I think I read yesterday that this is the first time in ATP Finals history where we have 2 set matches only on the first 2 days. I don't know if it's actually an interesting fun fact. I thought that stat was actually a bit like just who actually is interested in that. But on the other hand, I mean, obviously I have to agree that the matches so far have been dull. Zverev, Rublev, yeah, just nothing happening on the German serve. I think he eventually just killed Rublev's chances with that second serve ace on the second point of the last game. And Andre, he can keep up with him for a while. He also serves well. He also hits his forehand big, right? But eventually he's just going to make a few errors, 1 random game per set, and that's the match. Honestly, it was exactly the same almost as their last match at the ATP Finals, which was in 2023. So I guess not much surprise there. But at least from Zverev's perspective, like, he's looking very tough to beat. He's obviously got a great record at the ATP Finals, including winning the title in Turin. And he is looking tough to beat again. So, contrary to Carlos Alcaraz, he delivered. Oh, there was a comment as well about Alcaraz, I think, that I missed 30 minutes ago. Well, not 30, but yeah, if Carlos doesn't make it out of the group and at the US Open doesn't make the semis, expect both events to slow their court speed next year. Well, I don't know how much of an influence he has. Definitely the most, I would say, out of either player on tour, because as you said, he is the money maker for the most part. He makes the money for the ATP Tour, even though Sinner, of course, has had a much better year. But yeah, I think this will be kind of... If he loses in the groups here, like, it's fine. But if that also is combined with a lack of a result at the US Open... And yes, Matthew, I would say so. Yes, Rublev making a coaching change feels very much, well, I don't know if necessary, but it feels like it's something you should be considered. He's been working with Vicente and the other guy, who was it, Alberto Martin, or I don't remember, but definitely Fernando Vicente for such a long while. And yeah, it just doesn't seem like he is going anywhere from here. I don't know if he has the potential to go anywhere from here, but you can always try. And even if he's making the ATP finals this year, I don't think Rublev will end this season thinking, well, this was a good campaign. He could do that after 2022 or 23, but not really after this year. I think this year Rublev will be thinking, okay, I should change something. Whether it will be a coaching addition to his team or letting go of the current influences, we'll see. But it's certainly something to consider. It's rare that you make the ATP finals and you leave the season with that sort of feeling. I think Casper could also leave it with that, but and indeed the world would end if Casper Ruud won the title. I don't know if I'd be more than happy for the world to die, but I do like chaos. And given that Casper was like 1-7 in his last 8 matches going into this event or something like that, if he does win the ATP finals, it would be insane. I guess I'm not directly against the world ending. That's fine by my book, but would I be more than happy? I feel like I still have, something to show the world, and I still have things to do on this planet, so probably not. Anyway, that was a quick game from Henry. Yeah. Indeed, I don't think Rublev will ever be satisfied with this sort of a season. And we have Max Purcell serving now. For the first time, we have this situation where they are serving to stay in the set. And of course, even if they've been marginally better thus far, it might not actually mean much. We'll see. Purcell about to serve. It's a great second serve, but it's still put in by Henry. But eventually they're going to get the point. These slice lobes are working really well for both players. I know they're more, the returns, they are more associated with like slower conditions generally, but some players pull them off in quick conditions as well. Purcell, Thompson, definitely a good example, but even Patten here is playing a lot of that and succeeding. Of course they lost the point, but he did succeed in getting it back to like almost neutral. So it's really all you want sometimes. Oh, this is an interesting return from Heliovaara now. But they're not going to win the point either. This was like just a loopy shot over Jordan's head, but not quite a lob. Eventually, though, Purcell cleans it up with a couple of forehands. So maybe this game won't be that tough for the Aussie pair after all. Thompson now going to the net. It's a good soft volley, but Heliovaara with the read. Fantastic anticipation there. Gets a very wide angle on the forehand volley to get it past both Aussies. Yeah, this was just really nice. You can see how when Jordan was preparing for that forehand volley from below the net, Heliovaara is already there. Like Heliovaara is already absolutely, in check and just about to take this one. But the ace from Purcell will likely kill this game. And we'll see. 40-15, 32 minutes in. Of course, this match is going at a pretty high pace. Fast pace. You expect it from the two pairings for sure. Lots of good serves on the board. Conditions that support it too. And now Patten going with the great idea of basically putting this huge lefty forehand return into that part of the court which wasn't covered by Thompson. However, this is into the net, so 5 games all. And well, we are going in towards the tiebreak. Of course, the pairs have played 5 regular sets so far between each other. That's both Wimbledon and Paris, and 4 of them went to breakers. There was just that 1-6-1 defeat for Purcell Thompson in the second set over Heliovaara Patten. And of course, I'm not counting the 5th set because that was just a match breaker in Paris. Oh, wow. Did he miss that? Yeah, that's a brutal one from Jordan. That's a smash he has to be getting. They should have been 15 love up here. Especially as it's the Heliovaara serve, which at least, on a general level will be a bit more vulnerable. But not this time. he like swung at it, so heavy, and it seems like he just went a bit too full power mode on it. It actually almost hit Patten, I think, so in a way it wasn't that bad, but of course the touch call would mean that the pair who caught the ball with something else than the racket would lose it, but not in this case, as he didn't eventually hit him. Anyway, 15-all now. Heliovaara not quite landing that forehand as he was a bit rushed. It was quite deep off the ground. And now a second serve for Purcell to look at. Heliovaara has to play a pretty tough volley. Purcell throwing in the slice. But this is going to be a bit too high, and a high overhead backhand volley from Patten will take the point. This was a good example of Purcell just throwing in that slice. I mean, seemingly Heliovaara has so much time to cut it off, but he actually doesn't have a clean shot at it before it drops below the net. And it makes the point a little bit exciting, but I think on the next shot, just Purcell lost his idea what to do. Not too many first serves from Harry this game. Maybe this will be decisive. We can see that Henry is telling him to serve down the tee, which he does, but it is going to be out. So double fault. 30-all. Of course, in doubles, we have the deciding points here. Unlike at the slams. So even a 30-all already feels like you're quite close to losing the game. First double fault of the match. Does it come at an important moment or not? Let's see. Down the tee again for Heliovaara, but he's missing that first serve just every single time this game. This time we're not going to get a shot of where he's going to be going. Well, again, tee. The slice lob from Purcell is not that good this time, and it's not going to be good enough to win the point. Heliovaara smashing at Thompson, and there's no way that Jordan can just manage that forehand in time. So 40-30 now, as the British-Finnish duo is trying to secure the tiebreak. And we'll have to win one of the next 2 points to get it. Once again, the first serve is out, so this is a really important game for Heliovaara Patten as well, and for Purcell Thompson just overall, given that there are chances, they are time and time again, there's second serves to look at. This is a good one though, yeah. This time Thompson gets a little surprised with Heliovaara again going tee. Again, that slider serve, which he seems to favor. And now it's 6-5 for Heliovaara and Patten. And Purcell Thompson, after the break, will be trying to secure the breaker. This is, of course, the Mike Bryan group. The other one is called the Bob Bryan group. The reason why Rublev hasn't had a great season is because he only made slam quarterfinal this year compared to 3 the year before. Yeah, I mean, if you're Andre, what are you going to be looking for right now at your career? 1,000 title? Okay, it's not that relevant, but it's still good, but it doesn't actually influence your legacy all that much. So you have to look for a slam semi. And if you've only made 1 slam quarterfinal compared to 3, then you're not giving yourself the chances, right? So I think for Rublev, obviously, the one big goal in his mind right now is making a slam semi, and then, of course, going forward from there. So, I think that's kind of the sort of the way that he has to be looking at, the aspect that he has to be looking at when he's reviewing his season. Yes. He said the reason why it hasn't... that I already read. Henry Patten should think about having a new partner. Harry has been the weak link in all the matches I've seen them play since Wimbledon. Yeah, I mean, Harry is definitely a bit of more of a unique doubles player. Patten just has the obvious lefty, massive weapons. Are they actually, sort of at a different level to one another? You could say that. Then again, I mean, Harry already made it with Glasspool. He made it with Patten now. So the results kind of speak for themselves, I suppose. But it does feel like Patten might have, let's say, well, of course he's much younger, but a longer future in this sport. Jordan Thompson about to serve at 5-6. He actually gets the first point already. And by the way, when it comes to the combined World Tour Finals event, I think there is a significant drawback to this, which I don't see people mentioning all the time. And that is just having 1 week of action. You kind of want these to be split in order to have, 1 big week of celebration for women's tennis, 1 big week of celebration for men's tennis. I think it's better the way it is. I understand that for the WTA finals, it creates some issues, but I think we should actually start maybe working a bit more towards improving the product that the WTA finals is, rather than just doing that sort of a switch. And if we get the WTA finals to a level where it can be sustainable on its own, and when people actually care about it and it's promoted well, I think that would be a better option. But yeah, that's why they're also not in the same week, right? You're never going to see ATP finals and WTA finals in the same week, because the goal is for these events to just last longer, for these events to be spread out in order to, earn more money and more recognition for the sport. I think that the current system is okay in that. If it was like, same venue, and let's say 1 week is WTA, 1 week is ATP, I think that's fine. That's obviously something that is definitely possible and wouldn't actually change anything. That's an awesome return from Heliovaara here. But it's still 40-15 for Purcell Thompson, as we might be heading towards that tiebreak relatively soon. And yes, Purcell is able to put this away. Body serve from Thompson does the trick. So, the most expected outcome, right? The tiebreak between two very well-serving pairs. This is what we were hoping for as well. The most exciting few points coming up. Very slim margins as the tiebreak will begin with the serve of Henry Patten. Patten goes out wide for an ace. Nothing you can do about that serve. Serve out wide, but I think it's still probably registered for at a very good speed. Time for Purcell to throw in a couple of his. It's gonna be a second serve. As Heliovaara is attempting that return that Purcell did so well in it was a 2-all game, I think, where he's just running up into it and taking the backhand on the half volley a little bit. But this time it's gonna sail long. One more serve of Purcell. Goes T for an ace. 204 with a bit of slice as well. 10 aces from the Aussie pairing so far. 7 coming from Heliovaara Patten. I wish, this is something general, but I wish in doubles we had access to better stats as well, as in which player had the aces, serve points won, and etc. I don't think it would be that tough. You would only really need the umpires to do one more extra thing, which is at the beginning of the set, type in who serves first into the tablet. And then you already can basically divide these stats into different servers as well, right? But for some reason, no one ever really figured that. Doubles is underappreciated in general, so I am assuming that there's also not that much time spent on stuff like this, which doesn't honestly maybe seem that necessary, but I think it would give us a much clearer picture sometimes. Anyway, this tiebreak has definitely been dominated by servers. 5 points in a row. Heliovaara as well, getting the 2 points down here. I think out of the 4, his serve is probably generally the most... Well, I can't say it's a liability, but it's probably the most attackable, the most vulnerable. So getting these 2 points in is already huge for Heliovaara Patten. Now it's going to be Jordan Thompson to serve at 2-3 right before the change of ends. Okay, that's a great return. Will they get the point, though? Well, it's getting pretty spicy. Patten had a couple of smashes, but didn't convert it. And now we're back to a baseline point, essentially. But luckily for Henry, he makes up for his previous smashes being a little shaky. And he eventually wins the point with this nice forehand cross-court down-the-line combination, getting an easier ball from Jordan, then smashing it away at Max. And eventually they get to that 4-2 advantage. It was Harry's return, which did a lot of the work already. But eventually Patten kind of had to smash the ball a couple of times and eventually just beat Thompson and Purcell timing-wise of the ground, I guess. Max being a little late to that backhand. So the early break goes to them. I mean, I've said that in their rivalry, they've had 4 tiebreaks between each other, the two pairs. 3 of them, of course, won by Heliovaara Patten, but some of these were just so tough, especially the ones at Wimbledon. So I don't think they've been like decisively better in tiebreaks, but they definitely have been better so far here. I mean, that previous point, they should have won it like 3 times. Now that's a strong return from Patten, but can he do something off the ground again? Yes, he can. So it's actually the 2 points on Thompson's serve that Heliovaara and Patten win here. And this is already a huge lead in a match like this, which has been so serve-dominated. There was lots of width on the forehand return from Henry. Eventually, he goes at Purcell a couple of times to get the volley error. On the second serve so far in this match, on second serve return, Heliovaara and Patten have won 44% of the points, and the stat for Purcell Thompson is much lower at 415. This one was a second serve return, but the 3-2 point was actually on Jordan's first serve as well. So, yeah, just a couple of really good returns for the Finnish-British duo. Ooh, but Patten is throwing some of this away with the double fault at 5-2. And you can see he was just trying to loop that second serve in. So maybe some nerves coming in for Henry. He is, after all, playing here for the first time and everything. They won their first round match, the first round, their first fixture. That 5-2 advantage is getting into his head a little bit. Luckily, that serve is let, so he will have 2 more chances. I think it's a let again. He seems a little irritated, but it's back to the drawing board now. Strategizing again, of course, as well. Seems like it's Patten, kind of, since it's his serve, taking a dominant role here, just telling Harry what he's gonna do. And they're gonna make it work. It's a sliced serve down the tee. It's not placed all that well, but it's good enough for Purcell to just have to lift it, and Heliovaara is there with the clean keel. Basically had 2 hands on that volley just until the moment the ball struck the racket, but he just puts it away with an angle that no one would be able to get to. So 3 set points for Heliovaara Patten after all. The double fault from Henry set them back a little bit, let's say. I mean, they could have been 6-2 up, but it's fine. 6-3, 3 set points. One of them will be on serve. Let's see if Purcell Thompson can even get to 5-6. Gonna start on a second serve from Max. You can see Harry is very desperate to try to get a good return in here. It is a great return, and he's got Purcell on the move. It should be a clean keel, and it is from Patten with the backhand overhead. So 7-6, 7-3 in the breaker. Yeah, I mean, in the set, Purcell Thompson were a bit better, but that doesn't matter in the breaker. In the breaker, they were the one who faulted more. Harry and Henry actually with some amazing returns as well. The two that got them the mini breaks on Jordan's serve, and now this one from Henry was good too. Let's look at some stats. Purcell Thompson, 88% of points won on first serve, 71% first serves in. So yeah, I mean, they were really pretty dominant on serve before the breaker. 10 aces, 0 double faults, 2 break points. They were the only pair to create break points. I don't know if we're gonna have any other like seconds stat with a second screen with the stats, to be honest. Are we gonna get like winners, unforced errors, or something like that? But no, it might be that this first screen they show is the only one. I guess it is in doubles, yes. But most certainly, yeah, going to the tiebreak, Purcell Thompson were really strong, but not after that. Let's look at the total points won, because I think even though that breaker was so close, this might also be, yeah, 37-36 Purcell Thompson over Heliovaara Patten, even though they lost the breaker by 4 points, which again just shows you how much better they were in the actual regular part of the set. But kudos to Heliovaara Patten for surviving anyway, especially that 2-0 game, and they played much better in the breaker. All right, and of course, soon enough, we're going to be back with the second set. The hall in Torino is pretty dark. I don't know how many people are there, but I can see there are, the crowds are like semi-full, maybe. Lighting up now, as I think the pairs are about to re-enter the court. 48 minutes, the first set. Let's see if Purcell Thompson can produce any reaction. I think when they played in Paris, the first set went 7-6 to Heliovaara Patten as well, but then Purcell Thompson broke twice in the next set, won that breaker, that final match tiebreak, 12-10. So I guess even if Heliovaara Patten win 2-0, there's still a scenario when you don't have to go through with that, right? Because you might lose the next match 0-2, and there might be 3 pairs on 2-1, basically, with a 4-2 set record, and 1 pair on 0-6. Yeah, so basically, even if they win 2-0 here, they won't be qualified until at least the Granollers-Zeballos match against Kolhov Mektic, as that could decide the qualification, but not until then, even if they win 2-0. But well, Purcell and Thompson, they have to be pretty cautious here. They kind of threw their margin for error out the window. Although it is a funny thing, and a friend of mine who's watching doubles a bit more often once told me that, and kind of made me think of doubles a bit differently in this format with the match tiebreak. That in a way, when you drop a set, you're actually closer to winning than you were at the start of the match, which is insane, but you are. The thing is that when you start the match, you need 2 sets to win, right? And when you lose a set, you need a set and a match tiebreak. So that's actually true. I mean, you're never really out of the match when you lose the first set. Like in doubles, who loses the first set is, I can't say irrelevant, but it's definitely much less of a problem than in singles. In the format, of course, of longer, regular 3 sets instead of the breaker. So in a way, Purcell Thompson are closer to winning the match than they were at the very start of it, which is funny. Anyway, maybe they won't be soon as Max double faults, but they should be getting this point eventually, really targeting the ball down the middle. And it works, gets them to 30-all. All now. Purcell going T, but it's going to be a let. They are actually not going to be like, discussing strategy with Jordan just before the next serve, like Patten and Heliovaara were doing. Maybe that's because they literally went the same direction, and it's a great serve from Max. Of course, Jordan also signaled to him behind his back. So 40-30, let's see if they can kind of get a relief from that initial pressure in this set. Once again, great serve tee. I mean, Purcell has all these sliders and slice serves, right? So good. And, well, gets the job done. One game to love. Yesterday, I was definitely a bit surprised to see Arevalo Pavic losing to Kravic Puts, but Borelli Vavasori dominated Bopana Ebden. I think Bopana Ebden might be the worst pair in the event. Nothing against them, obviously, but it's just that, well, they won the Australian Open and they won Miami, but ever since, neither has been doing particularly well. So it's a bit rough. Maybe they can revive their chances somehow, but now they also get a pretty tough calendar, right? Because second match is against Arevalo Pavic, so yeah, I don't really know if they can potentially qualify. Oh, and by the way, I didn't mention that, but there's also the year-end #1 race, and Jordan Thompson is in it. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but Thompson can feasibly still finish the #1 in the rankings. So it is possible. I think basically it's between Arevalo Pavic, Granollers Zeballos, and Thompson. Like technically, if you look at the points, Purcell also has a shot, but obviously, if he is gaining points, then so is Thompson. I think the most chaotic result would still be Thompson, given sort of before this year he was never really close to these sort of achievements. Even at the start of the year, when Purcell and Thompson were dominating 250s, I guess you wouldn't have guessed that they were gonna go that far eventually. But yeah, these 5 players I think are technically in the race. I think even Borelli Vavasori, but they would really need other results to go right for them. But basically what I'm going to do at the moment is check how that is looking after the first round of fixtures and how close Thompson actually is to the... Yeah, I mean, Thompson wins this match and he's 55 points behind Arevalo and Pavic and gets ahead of Granollers Zeballos. Of course, Arevalo, Pavic, and Granollers Zeballos lost their first matches. So that's why, really. But yeah, it's doable. I think Jordan has a very good chance at #1. Would help to win this match, of course, and would help to eventually qualify. We'll see if he can do that. Oh, wow. This is quite a bit of miscommunication from Heliovaara Patten. Purcell hit the return. Harry lets it go. Then Patten actually, I think, is considering to just watch it fly past him and see if it's out. But eventually he decides to hit it. Is very late to the ball. And, well, they lose the point because of that. I think it probably would have dipped in from Purcell, but, who knows at this stage. Anyway, you can see why on the deciding point, they were making max return from the forehand side, because backhand side, outside, I mean, yeah, Patten is just going to kill you with this out wide serve. So anyway, 1 game all. Now, of course, it's going to be Jordan serving. I see there were some comments in the chat as well. Carlos cancelled his training today. Well, I mean, he's obviously sick. I don't know how much. Of course, colds can vary. Sometimes, like, I've had a runny nose for the past 2 weeks, but it's not impacting my conditioning whatsoever. Like, I'm still running. I'm still playing table tennis. I'm still doing everything. Because it's just, well, there was a moment at first when I had I had this one session of running when I was like a little, I had this heartache even in a way, but Maybe that's a bit of a stretch. Like it wasn't close to, you know, a coronary disease, but certainly I felt like I'm not all right. But now I'm just, you know, perfectly okay. I can do anything, even though I still have a cold. But sometimes when it really gets you, right? I mean, you would not be able to play. You would not be able to think straight on the court. Carlos probably has the worst kind of cold in regards to that. That's what it seems, at least. So taking the day off could be good, could be a good sign, or taking the day off could be a sign that he's just not in shape at all. So, well, that match with Rublev tomorrow. Yeah. It will be quite a must win for him, and then kind of hope that he can get himself in better shape ahead of the first day match with Zverev, right? Certainly not ideal preparation for an event like this, but you gotta work with what you have. Yesterday, he obviously put himself in a very difficult spot. Purcell, Thompson must be sick of these guys right now. I mean, they won in Paris, so... Christmas markets? What do you mean? Yeah, I don't actually know what the Christmas markets are, because like Christmas market, what I think of is like, so you'll have some, you know, on the street, you're gonna have people selling things or whatever. I think in big cities that is definitely the case. But then you said your family, so I guess it would be something more intimate. I don't know. I mean, we do celebrate Christmas in my family. Maybe it's just a German tradition that I'm not familiar with. Christmas markets, Germany. Let's see. I'm using Dr. Google for that, as Purcell Thompson just claimed the third game of the second set. Yeah, so I guess it's just something on the street in big cities, right? I think in bigger cities it might be happening in Poland, but I mean, it wouldn't be something my family does, as we are living in a 13K, 13,000 populated city. Definitely Christmas at my house is more intimate. Just just a very close family. We don't have anyone like coming in from, I don't know, this other corner of Poland now. It's just like me, my parents, my grandparents, and my aunt. Right now, it might be a bit more tricky since my grandma is not really well. She's just in the bed right now, so we'll probably have everything over at their house. But you know, so it's a decent tradition anyway. Even though I'm an atheist, I would still like to have some sort of Christmas celebration in my house in the future, just for the sake of like, yeah, the community aspect of it. With a friend group, we've also been doing Christmas party for a few years, and I do like it, kind of just like this very weird setting where you just take a tradition that's generally for a very different purpose, and then you kind of just twist it in your own way. I get really like into that. You know, we do like Secret Santa and everything, and last year I bought these Santa Claus cups for everybody, and it's yeah, it's fun. But I don't think I participate in Christmas markets, no. Anyway, Heliovaara Patten, of course, Hari serving at 1-2 down. Still no breaks in this match, only 2 break points for the Aussies in the first set, but they were both saved. Yeah, Hari's serve definitely unorthodox. It's not Sander Arendt's unorthodox, but it is not like proper textbook technique. Clearly it's effective. I mean, the guy has made the ATP finals twice. But it's actually in many ways similar to Arendt's, I think. It's just not as weird. Anyway, he goes T4 and ace. It's actually a great serve. 40 love. and looks like he will just clean up this game in the nick of time, in the Nick Carter of time. Yes, indeed. He surprises Thompson with the serve down the tee on the second delivery. Jordan complaining a little bit. I think he was expecting him to go wide. It's a slice serve tee. He can't connect with the forehand return. So after 4 games, yeah, just status quo. Are we going to get another breaker here? Of course, these pairs do like their breakers. Wimbledon final, 3 of them. 2 of them at least were like thrilling and filled with drama. But they still need a few more holds, of course, to get there. Max Purcell serving at 2-all. Goes tee, he misses it. It's going to be long. Jordan showing him to serve middle, I think. Which he does, but that's not going to work out. I think Jordan kind of went a bit too far left. The return from Patten could have been directly at him, but instead Purcell just gets a pretty deep ball to handle off his feet. Heliovaara is there like a lion. A lion maybe it's not even a good one, like a tiger at the net, just picking it up right away when he sees that slower ball coming in, slower, higher ball from Max. Let's see if this gets them into trouble. I mean, it's love 15 and it's another second serve for Purcell. And once again, he is actually put under pressure by the return. Off the ground, he's had some issues today when the ball is like coming in pretty flat and there's no way to just secure more time on it. He's getting his shots are getting broken down a bit. Low 30 now. This could be huge. I think the serve is just wide, maybe. Really just wide. Goes for a risky second serve, but Patten is there to cover it. Patten is there to cover it, send him really wide to his backhand corner. There's not much that Purcell will be able to do from there, and Heliovaara puts it away. So we've got 4 break points right now for Heliovaara and Patten. The first time this happens in this match, and this could be game over if Purcell and Thompson can't recover that. Purcell going tee, but he's so disappointed here. He doesn't make a first serve again. I mean, he would have completely fooled Heliovaara, who was just like hardcore wide position. And he makes a double fault. Going tee with a lot of pace, he risked it, and it doesn't work out. So 4 second serve points lost in a row from Purcell, and Heliovaara Patten are a set and a breakup, and in a great position to get this win and get in a very commanding spot in the Mike Bryan group. I mean, if they are going to go 2-0 and 4-0 in sets, I think the only thing they need is like a free setter in Granollers, Zeballos, Kolhov, Mektic, right? Because that already gets them through, regardless of other results. Or in another scenario, they could also go through if the pair of these two that they haven't played yet, they lose, right? Because then the last match is a dead rubber. So basically there's a lot of scenarios where if they claim this in 2, they will probably be through even today. Jake talking about the Talking Tennis get together at Wimbledon. I doubt I will be there at Wimbledon, but maybe if Nurlan comes and announces his participation, I will change my mind. But yeah, if Heliovaara Patten win this, they are in 2 especially almost unrealistic for them not to make it out of groups. If Patten takes this match as well, he would jump to number 12 in the rankings, which is currently his career high. Of course, still easily overtakeable, let's say, by the other players. By the way, interestingly, we have all the top 16 in the ATP finals, which basically just shows you that the best pairs this year were the ones who kind of kept playing with each other a lot. There wasn't anyone who like went half a year with this partner, half a year with this partner, and still made the ATP finals with one of them, for example. All of the pairings that we have in this edition of the ATP finals, they were practically with each other, most of the season. Patten coming in with a couple of big forehands, should be able to put the smash away. Yes, he does. This is looking really good for Henry again. 30 love up on serve, trying to consolidate the break that they got just a second ago. Last 10 points, actually last 11 points were won by Heliovaara Patten. So when I showed you that 37 to 36 was the total points won stat in the first set, and that was actually in favor of the Aussies who lost it. This has obviously changed since. I mean, since this match is going very smoothly for Heliovaara Patten, including the last 11 points. Let's see if they can make it 12 and just claim the game right away. This would be simply a love hold from Hari, the break to love on Max's serve, and now the love hold from Henry potentially. But will it be a love hold? It's a baseline rally now. Heliovaara trying to cut it off, but he's a little late to the ball. Of course, that puts Henry in a very tough spot, and he tries to come up with a tweener, but yeah, no. But that's, of course, a Heliovaara error rather than anything else. I mean, he was trying to cut it off and just didn't get it, so if that happens, you are pretty much doomed. Even as the player, not at the net. So the run of points has been stopped, but Patten just finds another ace out wide. 7-6, 6-4. Sorry, 7-6, 6-4. I'm getting ahead of myself. Maybe that will be the final score. But 7-6, 4-2 is what I was trying to say. And Purcell Thompson serving next. Of course, it's going to be Jordan now. After Max had that previous service game, which, just didn't go to plan at all. 4 missed first serves, double fault to end it, as well as he tried risking it. And just a couple of narrow misses on these first serves that could have maybe turned it around, but it didn't happen. Thompson handling that mid-court forehand here very well. Gonna go up 15 love. These returns usually in singles, like you're just gonna put them away because the player cannot cover the whole court, right? The opponent cannot cover the whole court. In doubles, it gets a bit more tricky, so that's why I think he did handle it like respectfully here. Pretty tough return from Heliovaara, backhand line. Purcell has to get it from below the net, and Patten will just swiftly put it away. Lefty overhead forehead volley. Points on return in the first set, it was like 8 out of 34 for Patten and Heliovaara, now 50% in the second, whereas Purcell Thompson have stayed at about a 20%, so that's a big deal. Well, the stat is not likely to keep improving for them, I suppose, as Thompson finds an ace down the tee, but right now, of course, Heliovaara Patten, they don't actually need anything else, right? They just basically need 2 holds and they'll be fine. So the next one coming up would be on Hari's serve, which I guess maybe is slightly more vulnerable, but not in this match so far. It was actually on Henry's serve that they had to save 2 break points. This time the attempt to go wide on the return from Heliovaara doesn't actually pan out. Purcell very quick to take it, and 40-15 for Thompson and Purcell. Of course, Jordan serving, trying to close out the game, trying to keep it within touching distance. Let's see what he does here. Second serve. My stream stopped responding there for a moment. That's not good, but I see it's 40-30. Let's see if I can get it back up. As it looks like Thompson is still struggling to land his first serve. Where's okay. As John told you in the chat, Mario and John will be bringing you Medvedev de Minaur later. Ooh, and that's gonna be another point one on the second serve by Heliovaara Patten on the second serve return. I mean, this has been a big problem for the Aussies this set. Of course, Purcell especially that previous game, but now we have a deciding point that is getting us close to losing the match. Yeah, stream stopped for Jake too, so I guess it's not a me problem after all. Seems like it's a Tennis TV issue. So for now we can just follow the scoreboard really, but it seems like okay, Thompson probably hit an ace or something like that. Actually, we have these like match beats, right, as well. So on the ATP website, so we might actually learn something more, I guess. But yeah, for now the streaming doesn't seem to be working for anybody then. Which is a shame, but hopefully it can be back up for the next game, I hope. In the meantime, let's see if maybe this can tell us anything about how... okay. That data not available. But it is like this for every single point. So they're just gathering a lot less data, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. We know that it wasn't an ace, but we don't know much more. So anyway, that's all we can say for now. Hopefully the stream is back up for the next game of Heliovaara serving, of course. What I wanted to check actually was that first serve percentage, which I think has dipped like significantly for the Aussies this set, right? 71% in the opener, and they were winning 88% points on first serve. Whereas in the set in progress, we've got 57. So I mean, it's still decent, right? It's nothing horrible. It's nothing atrocious, but it's a big dip compared to the opener. And they're only winning 20% of their second serve points in this set. So it is one of the issues, I guess. Especially that one game, of course, where Purcell doesn't land the first serve and they lose all 4 points. There's actually a medical evaluation on Max Purcell, okay? The streaming still isn't working. So I'm assuming it's also not working for everybody else. So we can't see what Max is getting treated on. During the ATP finals, that's a little unfortunate that technical issues like this are happening. But well, we'll work with what we have. Hopefully it will just return in a minute or two. Oh, it's back up for you now. Okay. Yeah, people will flood to talking tennis, but what does it matter, if I also can't watch? then they will stop. That will not really like make them watch us. Desperate for Layal to become a friend of the show. I can't quite call him a friend of myself. I had a couple of interviews with him, but I can't call him a friend of mine. I don't think he would remember me by now. But yeah, he's a good candidate. He definitely is desperate for it. Although he lost to Pennington Jones yesterday, and it's kind of unclear if he's done enough to make Australian Open qualies. So, we only want players who will be in Australian Open qualifying, right? We don't care about the others. Oh, it was just a conversation, no treatment. Okay. Okay, and my stream is back up, so that's good. Anyway, Heliovaara already 40-15 up. For some reason, the ATP finals, the ATP website here isn't refreshing now. Maybe I should get it to refresh. Yeah, I guess I'll do that since you guys currently have the scores not refreshing for you either. But anyway, in the meantime, Heliovaara cleaned up this game that we barely saw. And Max Purcell is now serving to stay in the match. I wonder what the potential conversation of the physio was about, but I guess we'll never know. Well, in any case, of course, the goal for the Aussies is very clear now. Just ensure that this game is taken care of and that the pressure will be on Heliovaara Patten. Chances are still slim. It's going to be Henry serving. It's going to be 5-4. And since the third game, since maybe the fourth game of the opening set, it never really felt like they had a shot at breaking the Brit and the Finn. But we'll see. That's a pretty poor miss at the net from Jordan too. I think in general, since that break in the second set, they have gone down a bit mentally as well. Thompson, Purcell, I think they're really just more irritated, more on edge. They freak out over even missing basically first serves. This time the strategy from Thompson, the one that he signaled to Purcell, seemingly works very well, but the point is still going. And oh wow, Patten completely shanks the backhand, and he has to say sorry, but it just lands into that down the line corridor that no one was covering. That's pretty sick. And all of this came after a point that they should have probably won in 2 shots. Purcell Thompson. Ooh, but as I said, that poor forehand volley miss from Thompson on the second point of this game, he makes up for it. This is just class. This is from below the net. Lots of slice on the forehand he has to come up with here, but really good reaction. Basically crouched behind the net. 30-all. And once again, he cuts off the ball, but it's not obvious yet. But the lob, the defensive get, let's say, from Patten will be out. So it's 40-30 now for the Aussies as they are trying to close up that game. And as I said, just make them serve it out. Well, this will be an easy cleanup for Thompson at the net. So 5-4 after the change of ends. Henry Patten to serve for the match. Not for qualification yet, but it will be like an all but qualified situation. I see that the ATP scores have not refreshed yet either. So that's kind of wild. Maybe I'll try to get it off the Nito website. That can also be a thing here for us, I guess. I guess results probably would be the Yeah, this tab is not working too well when I'm sharing it, but that's fine. Maybe the ATP website went bug because so far it's not doing that. Layal, Layal was pretty cool. I think the last time I talked to him was like 2022, so it was a while back. But definitely he was like, because of his experience in Muratoglu and everything, I think he had a lot of, I think it was very easy for him to talk both in English and kind of just on tennis topics. And he was eager to chat for sure. That was, I think, the first time I
hope you can all hear me. I think maybe Damien's laptop has just crashed, so I'm just joining from a platform in Cologne, and therefore I can really give you very little information on the match. And but I'm sure Damien will be back very, very soon, especially as this match reaches a crescendo. My presumption is that Damien's laptop has just decided to have a moment, and he'll be with you shortly. In the meantime, do hit that like button and, of course, subscribe. If you can hear me, and if you can't hear me, but yeah, Damien hopefully will be back soon. But Mario and I will be bringing you Medvedev against De Minaur in about an hour from now. While I just wait for my train, Deutsche Bahn, which is the German rail network, is about as reliable as Damien's laptop. So fingers crossed I get back to Bonn, which should be a 15-minute journey. But it's been a few cancellations. But do let me know in the live chat. Can you hear me okay? Because maybe you can't. But fingers crossed you can. Let's see if my mic is...
Yeah, we can hear you okay.
Damien.
And my browser decided to not stay mad for me for that long. However, in the meantime, by the way, we had a break. And we had a break to love on the Patten serve. At love 30, he actually
they
had
did
a
blow it.
Smash. Yeah, he had a routine smash at love 30, and then he double faulted at love 40. So, this was like a proper choke.
Wow.
We are still in this.
Which was more dramatic? Which was more dramatic, your laptop going down or the break of serve? Do let us know in the live chat. Can you hear me all right, by the way?
Yeah, I can hear you. The stream it was still on for me at least, so it was just the browser.
All right.
But so that wasn't as dramatic, maybe. Although the break wasn't as dramatic either, I guess, you know, so it was a break to love. I mean, come on. But yeah, this will be brutal for Heliovaara.
All right, I'm gonna leave. See you soon.
Yeah, of course. This will be brutal for Heliovaara Patten if they can't take this match. This was, I mean, for the first time since what, the third or fourth game of their third game or their fourth game of the first set, there was any like glimmer of hope for for Purcell and Thompson, and Heliovaara basically just ran their team sort of head first into the wall. And that's something that we weren't expecting, because generally he was more on top of things in this match, I would say. Let's see if I can get the scoring back up. That's something that would be good here. I think sometimes when we get the, when I'm sharing the screen, it's just a little bit more taxing, I suppose. But what can you do? Anyway, what I want to see is actually the first, because it seems like Purcell will just claim this game, but I don't remember now what the first 2 points were in that game where Harry and Henry were serving for it. But that's actually what I kind of want to make up on here. Oh, okay, so on the first one, they just misjudged the return from Purcell. Sort of misjudged, they just both went left, and there was no way to even go for it, even if they thought it was going in. And then on the second point, okay, that was a let. I think on the second point, it was a second serve as well. Tell me it wasn't a double fault. Because if it was, then, you know, that's an even stronger story here with Henry's game just falling apart at the worst moment. No, it actually wasn't. But Thompson killed them with the slice return. Okay. Oh, but suddenly the Aussies from 30 love and kind of feeling like, okay, we might be turning the match around, you know, right away. That's not happening, as Thompson is now forced to save 2 breakpoints at 30-40. It's also a second serve coming up. This match has gotten a bit more tense and nervy in the last few minutes, that's for sure. Which usually happens close to the finish line, right? So it's not the end of the, it's not the most surprising thing, I guess. Heliovaara trying to hit that cross-court return, but I don't know, there was no conviction in it, if you may. I think that he wasn't really sure what to do and just ends up floating it for Purcell to pick it up. But there's one more breakpoint, of course. I think it's going to be Henry returning, yes. Jordan to serve at deciding point. Second serve again. All right. I think they're leaving that left side of the court a bit open once again. I wonder if Henry will be trying to find it with the lefty forehand return there. It seems like a play. No, he actually goes to the other, to the other corridor now, and it's too quick for Purcell. So it's 6-5. They've broken again. They will have another shot, this time on Harry's serve though. So basically a perfect performance from them in a way, up until that one game. But let's see if now the second attempt to serve it out will be better or not. I should be able to put the score for you in a second. Yeah, probably not long to go. You can tell I'm very excited for Deminor Medvedev. No. That's why I chose the doubles match today, because the singles is rough. Jake, please don't pressure me. I'm trying. I'm trying my best. Was hoping to catch a tiebreaker. You might not be able to. Let's see. Okay, you'll have some score right now on the screen. I should probably get this even bigger, I suppose. I'm not good with technology generally. I'm not. But anyway, you have it right now. Now seems unlikely, yes. And also, no, I knew that I had to share my screen, but yeah. About Layal, why is he not ranked higher than he is? I mean, I think he definitely disappointed this season a little bit. Why is he not ranked higher? I mean, as you said, the floor and generally speaking is such like a free-flowing attacking game, but you need to be able to pull it off. And I think against players like more weight of shot, it's not that easy. You can't be on the front foot the entire time. But I think there is hope for development as he's a good athlete as well. Like it's not like he's completely out of his element defensively. He is a good enough athlete to sort of pull off different play styles at some point too. And yeah, just the margins in his game, they obviously aren't that huge. It would be great if he can start the next season from Australian Open qualifying and just kind of go on from there. I think the top 100 potential is still very much there. I would be surprised if during his whole career he doesn't make it there. And yeah, definitely a slightly disappointing season. I was expecting him to go a bit further. But since Wimbledon, there's more and more positive signs, especially the last few weeks were very good too. Anyway, Love 30, I mean 30 Love here, of course. They are trading some ground strokes now. And Purcell trying to go for that low slice again with the opponents at the net. It's a risky shot, though. I am very surprised he chose it here. That's going to be 4 match points in a row for Heliovaara and Patten as they go 40 love up. I'm really surprised with this selection from Max. This should be over now. Yes, Jordan barely catches that first serve down the tee from Harry. Henry is there with good reach to just wrap it up sort of through the net. 7-6, 7-5, handshake at the net. Well, 2-1 for Heliovaara Patten now in this rivalry, if you may. That's something we can definitely add. They obviously won the Wimbledon final, saving match points. Some huge celebrations from Heliovaara here. And basically, they won at Wimbledon. They lost in Paris 11 days ago, but they get back at Purcell Thompson again. Heliovaara gets his last ball, like they're celebrating on the court, and Heliovaara gets the last ball he had in his shorts out of the pocket, and he's serving. That's a pretty unique celebration as well. 95 minutes, 7-6, 7-5. I mean, they're all but qualified now with 2 straight wins. Purcell Thompson still with a good shot. They won 1 match in straights. They lost 1 match in straights. So obviously they should be able to still have a shot on the final day. And what else? I mean, bit better in the first part of the opener, I would say, the Aussies, definitely. They had the 2 chances. They were winning their games like so easily. But then the breaker is when Harry and Henry just really stole it, right? Just took control. These very like wide, aggressive returns, stretching Purcell and Thompson right away. And then, of course, second set, I mean, they were always kind of more in control then, more calm and collected. Max and Jordan clearly letting that first set get to hit them a little bit. And we just kind of need to have that, 5-4 second sets. That was a game to forget from Henry. But, I mean, in the end, of course, they still clean it up in 2. So in the end, obviously, it didn't actually matter all that much that he had that 1 nightmare. But yeah, they're basically qualified now. I think we can't say that it's, mathematically in yet. There is still a very unlikely scenario where they could go out on game percentage, I think. But yeah, it's likely that even later today, a certain result in Granollers, Zeballos, Kolhov, Mektic could already qualify them without even playing the third match. We'll have to wait for that. As you guys have already heard about, we're going to have a stream for Medvedev de Minaur, so definitely make sure to tune into that. John and Mario will be bringing you that. As for me, this is it for today. We brought you this doubles match. Maybe we're going to do something more during this ATP finals. We'll see. Well, oh, wow. There's a lot of questions here. Yeah, okay. I will absolutely do that. Just give me 15 seconds. All right, and after these 15 seconds, I will get to the questions that you just wrote, like 8 of them, which is fine, of course. Anyway, what the hell happened to Alcaraz yesterday? A cold has never affected me that much. Really? I mean, a cold has never affected you that much? This year when I was in Koblenz, there was a moment when I stopped talking to players because I just figured if they would be feeling like I am right now, most probably they wouldn't be able to compete. It's just impossible. I think I was talking about this mid-match as well, that there are colds that simply you can still do everything and your stamina isn't even bothered and your decisiveness, your thought processes aren't bothered. However, there are also these colds which basically make you unable to produce your best level, right? You are unable to think straight, you are unable to literally focus on the court as well. So I don't know if it's just the cold, but it seems like that it's mostly the cold. Was Casper Ruud good? No. I mean, Casper Ruud, played a serviceable match, but he was, I can't say gifted the win, but it's not like Casper did something special. Can Fritz hurt Sinner? Maybe a set. I think Fritz absolutely can hurt Sinner, but it's only in a serve botting scenario. So he has to serve out of his mind and hope for tie breaks, hope for tight games, maybe one break point somewhere, which he converts. But that's the only way, really. And it is a more exciting match than the US Open, purely because, well, Taylor is actually going to have that opportunity there. Whereas at the US Open, the margins weren't going to be that slim. It was just going to be the same sort of baseline tennis between them. And you know that Taylor does nothing better than Jannik, literally nothing. It's a little sad, it's a little depressing, but there's no aspect of the game where Fritz is better than Sinner. And that hurt him at the US Open. But if this one is closer, if the margins are slimmer, maybe. Is Poland pumped for BJK Cup? I don't know. I don't see that much about it, to be honest. I mean, obviously there's a large group of Świątek fans on the internet which are definitely pumped. But are we collectively as a nation pumped for Beijing King Cup? I doubt it. Am I pumped about it? I mean, I'm pretty excited to watch it, I guess. It's the first time we have Iga in this competition, and it's the first time we have a shot to even win the title. It doesn't have to be easy. I mean, Czech Republic is another favorite, and they're going to be in our quarterfinals. Even Spain isn't that easy. Świątek can lose to Badosa, potentially. Why not? But yeah, I am pretty interested in this for sure. We have a strong team, of course, 3 players in the top 40. Who even is the favorite between de Minaur and Medvedev? Generally speaking, obviously Daniil. Today, still Daniil, barely. De Minaur is an uncomfortable opponent for him, and we know that Medvedev might not be able to handle something like that at the moment because he is just a little... I mean, yeah, he is just a little irritated with this season. He wants it to be over. He's not feeling comfortable with the shoulder. He's complaining about the balls all the time. And I just don't think that he will be ready for it, really. Which is more likely in 2025, Osaka in the top 10 or Iga returns to number 1? Iga returns to number 1 is easier because it can literally happen after the Australian Open. So I think, and it doesn't even need to be a great result from her, right? It could be Arena if she loses early. So I think Iga returns to number 1 is more likely. Any ideas to fix doubles? Well, better promotion is obvious. Talk Tennis TV showing every single doubles match. More focus about it on the social media. more. I think there should be a rule that every single day on in ATP Tour events, every single day there should be one doubles match on center court. I think we cannot afford to have these schedules where center court is 4 singles matches and then court 1 is 1 doubles, is like 2 free doubles matches. Like, that's not right. It should be at least one of them on center, and that I know that the events won't like it because they want to sell the most tickets and they feel like it's a better ticket when you have singles on only, or like, you know, doubles is additional to the singles and you don't actually take away a singles match in a way. But I think we have to do it. Just, you know, we either scratch doubles completely or we actually try to make it work. I hate the fact that right now is a middle ground. And also the sign-up system for events, it has to change. I think that's still believing that singles players make doubles watchable is complete BS. Like, it's not a thing. It's not a thing, at least to a, let's say, a noticeable extent. The fact that, I don't know, Taylor Fritz and Tommy Paul will play doubles at some ATP 1000, it won't bring eyes to doubles. It won't. And the fact that as a doubles player right now, it's just so tough to get into events. You know, you're ranked maybe 50, 60 in the world, and you can't play ATP 1000s. You barely can play ATP 500s. Like, that's just busted. And that's one of the biggest things as well. John Verheim developments, I don't know. Absolutely don't know if there have been any developments. I'm not really interested in that anymore. What else is there? John Strain is moving fast. Flu rather than a cold. I mean, it's tough to determine sometimes, right? Do you know if you have a flu or a cold? I don't, so most certainly. Ruud can build on that win. He's playing Zverev now. He can't win that, but if he can build, you know, playing Rublev in the final match, why not? The problem is, and we already mentioned that yesterday, I think Gokalp said it right on the stream of, what was that? Yeah, Alcaraz Ruud. I think Gokalp said it right. Like, Kasper is very realistic about himself, sometimes even too realistic. Like, he's not the most confident guy in terms of just, you know, yeah, I'm the best. He's not that kind of person. I think that also comes from his like intelligence and just being, you know, humble. But at the same time, he's not like this crazy confident fellow like, I don't know, Holger Rune, Nick Kyrgios or whatever. And players like this would take a lot of confidence from that win. They wouldn't be like, just like focusing on, okay, so he had that cold and he wasn't at his best. That's why I won. Whereas I think Kasper will be looking at it through this angle. So he will be thinking, oh yeah, so I might actually just have won this because he had a cold, because he wasn't at his best. I don't think I played all that well. Like, that's what Kasper is probably thinking to himself right now. And that's not the mindset where you can actually take away confidence from wins, right? And yeah, for many people, it will be a confidence building win. I'm not sure that Kasper will think of it this way, just because of what sort of person he is. What challenger matches should you look out for today? Ooh, okay. That's that we can definitely answer as well. I will have to look at the schedule, though. Obviously, we have 4 events. I mean, technically 5, but the Kobe action for today is already over. I think Chorich Holmgren in right for starters, right? Chorich Holmgren in Jesus Helsinki was last week, and this week we have Lyon. That's a good one, definitely. We have a Fonseca match as well, which is maybe not part. Well, actually, against Janvier, it could be quite exciting. Janvier has that big hitting game where, well, he only really accesses his top level, 5 times a year? But that 5 times a year, he is absolutely deadly. So maybe Fonseca Janvier as well, I would say, in Lyon is worth catching. It's actually started already. And in fact, Joao just won the first set. Later there will be Chorich Holmgren. Yeah, I think that's kind of the biggest things in Lyon. There's a few good matches in Montevideo for sure. Coria Gaubas, that is an absolute cracker for sure. We've got as well Kopriva Ugo Carabelli. You know, Witko Pshiva just won the challenger in Lima. And to go now to Montevideo and get a very physical matchup like this, you know, it's an interesting discussion of like what's going to be more important. Is it his form, or is it actually the fact that he will be a bit tired? I think that Comesania Torres is also worth checking out for sure. There's also Drummondville and Champagne, of course. Segerman Holt, maybe. Duckworth Rodesh, that's a good one. The top seed in Drummondville facing Rodesh, who since the college season has been winning so much on the Pro Tour. I think that's another really important watch today. And I would say maybe in the States, in Champagne, we also have Speed City against Kruger. That seems pretty decent. Gibson Kozlov, if Kozlov is any feat. Maybe even Borisiuk against Basavaredi. Borisiuk recently almost beat Zakaris Fajda. Seems to be another interesting college prospect. Anyway, that's kind of it. What did you make of Mehdi's meltdown on Sunday? Some thought it was amusing. I don't know if it was amusing for me. Okay, he's not happy on the court right now. And he just wants the season to be over. That's all I think about it. Was I amused by the meltdown? I wasn't either amused or I wasn't either just outraged, right? I know some people just say no, I can't, I don't want to watch that or something like that. I don't want to watch that, which is why I didn't watch the match. I just saw his clips of what he was doing on Twitter. But yeah, this is where we are with Daniil. He needs a break, and that's all I want to say really on the topic. I don't have any other thoughts there, I guess. Can he serve and volley the minor? Of course. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a strategy for him for sure. He doesn't have the biggest serve, but he has good touch. And even a server like this can definitely just find a good angle out wide and follow it up and use it as a surprise tactic. And I think, yeah, as Jake says, he has good hands. Sounds wrong, but you get me? No, unless you mean just the fact that he has nice hands and everything. But, it's a classic tennis expression, I guess. Yeah, Holmgren has to be near the front of the queue for sure. We haven't really had the chance to interact with him again. But it was definitely one of the best experiences I think we've had, either me or you, with tennis players, of course, just eating that lunch kind of casually with him. So I think he has to be near the front of the queue, but he would need one more event where either of us are, and yeah, just have some sort of interaction with him, right? I was watching August in Kozerki this year as well. However, he lost in the opening round to Laurent locally, so didn't really get a chance to chat to him or anything. I don't think we even bumped into each other at the venue at any point. So yeah, he didn't get that repeatability aspect of the friend of the show yet. I am traveling to one more challenger soon, and I will check if he's on the list, but I don't think so, given he is probably scheduling for indoor hard towards the rest of the year. That's my assumption, but yeah, I don't see him on the list. I would assume that he's just going to be at another event that week, unless he's just not playing at all. Yeah, he will be at another event that week. Anyway, Crystal Ball. How does Fonseca's 2025 look? Well, it would be a big disappointment if he didn't break the top 100. I think at first he might actually fall a bit in the rankings because he has that Rio quarter to defend. He has Bucharest to defend. I think he's going to be playing a more... I don't think he's going to be playing the most clay-heavy schedule. I think he'll be mixing it up. But generally speaking, yeah, top 100 definitely. Let's say an ATP semi somewhere. Maybe the kind of season that gets you to 60, 55 in the rankings, like Shang this year or something like that. I know it's not maybe necessarily the boldest. It's not the most out there prediction, but I'm trying to be a realist about it. I think there's still lots to learn. And time and time again, we're seeing that. But I don't know. I kind of like what he's doing right now, playing Europe, playing these indoor hard events, not really seeking cheap points in events he could be winning. Could be winning more matches in, but really seemingly just looking forward into the future. I don't know. It's of course still very unclear whether when he gets to the top, he will be more like a inconsistent player like Shelton, or just develops into an efficiency beast like Sinner. Many things can happen, but yeah, top 100 at least, and after that anything will be fine. Anything will be a bonus, I think.
Do you see the wheels coming off in a way, in a sort of Holger Rune-esque manner, albeit much further down the rankings, and he never, or at least for the next couple of years, doesn't reach the potential that many of us think he has?
I mean, certainly a possibility if you have a game that's this hit or miss. I think it's just something we don't really know or estimate at the moment. But yeah, I would say that it's a possibility when you have a game like this. It's basically a question of like how good can you develop your return skills, especially. Seems like that's usually the deal breaker between like players who can get to the elite level and players who can just stay there for ages. So I think it's all in the nurture aspect now rather than the nature aspect. In the nature aspect, he's got like 10 out of 10. In the nurture, it's getting there, and we'll see how far along he will be by next year.
What's his biggest weakness right now?
Return skills, handling big weight of shot coming at him as well. Like, just the fact that when he's rushed, the ground strokes, they are suffering. And yeah, return for sure. Inexperience as well, in the sense that he's just playing a bit too mindlessly a lot of the time. Someone like Choinski last week, he really shouldn't be losing matches like this, I guess.
That's twice this year, right? He's lost to him, of course, in the
but
first
Ashtori was a bit of a different case, I guess.
Yeah. Which challenger?
He wasn't this far along. It was on a surface that suits Choinski's game more.
Okay. Which challenger is it you're going to? One more you said for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Which one?
You're breaking up a bit, at least for me.
Okay,
but I guess you're asking about which challenger I'm going to. It's going to be Montemar in Alicante, basically.
Oh, wow. That's
cool.
That
was my internet then.
Oh, that's okay. But that's pretty cool. Alicante, wow.
Yeah, it's not close to the Vienna venue in the Ferrero Academy, so I won't be able to check it out. But it's also Alicante pretty much. Vienna is much more like outside the city. This is called Montemar, I guess, to avoid confusion with that. But it's pretty much like almost the center of Alicante. Flying there on Saturday.
Okay, so it's next week. Got it.
Yes, it's next week.
Outdoor clay?
Yes.
Okay. So the weather's
still was supposed to be one more in Spain after that in Maspalomas, but it was cancelled. So, but yeah, next week we're gonna have two in Europe: Rovereto in Italy, indoor hard, and this one on clay in Montemar.
You know why it was cancelled, that one?
Not sure. I mean, the Canaries shouldn't be affected by the floods. It's actually Alicante, which was more in danger, right? So
right, not far from Valencia.
A month ago it was still on the calendar, but
okay.
Right now,
just wonder if there's a financial issue or something going on. Oh, anyway, that's perfect. We can end this stream now. Thank you for answering all those questions. Just while my German transport issues resolve themselves, and I will be back with Mario in about half an hour for the very exciting de Minaur Medvedev match, Damien. That I know you just can't wait to watch and really
already had the stream on, just waiting for the players to show up. Probably in the watching highlights and be like, Danny, Alex.
Yeah, it'd be funny if they both decide to play with their rackets the other way around in a sort of Bublik Medvedev.
The entire match?
Yeah, the entire match. Yeah, I mean, serving would be tricky. But yeah, it would be
how about the dead rubber? So like if there's a dead rubber and both players, they're already, one is eliminated, one is already through. But it's still 200 points, I guess.
Yeah. The other alternative would be to do the opposite and have a huge racket head, and see how that pans out. There was something else I wanted to say.
Happy board.
I'm okay until 4:30 p.m. When do you have to go to table tennis?
5:30. 5:30, yeah.
I will tell Mario as we begin the stream together, but he's okay for a few games on his own as well, pretty much. So
we'll see. We'll see how long it takes. It's a de Minaur Medvedev match. It might be pretty long, but if it's straights, then you're still going to be able to.
Oh, easy. Should be fine.
Stay until the end. So yeah, we'll see.
All right. Take care. Speak to you soon. And everybody else, the drill. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button,
Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.